guys? Welcome to my channel, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's great to have you here with me. Today I have another very exciting Halloween video for you guys, and one that I am personally very excited for because it's a brand new to me company, and that is of course Spooky Soul Candle Company. So Spooky Soul is a small batch wax company that specializes in candles that have spiritual and spooky themes year round. It is operated by the owner Stephanie over in Sacramento, California, and a lot of her candles have these really cool like witchy pagan like designs and themes around them. And this is actually a company that I've kind of had my eye on for a little bit now, as towards the end of last Halloween season I was noticing a lot of the candle YouTubers that I watch personally were covering these candles. And so that brings us here today, as towards the beginning of July, Spooky Soul announced their fall and I believe Halloween collection. They say it is the fall collection, but there is a lot of Halloween centric scents in this one. So I was very excited to jump at the chance and dive head first into what Spooky Soul has to offer. And I will say that I am very glad that I did. So originally going into this launch, I was planning on only picking up 3 fragrances, but I could not help myself and I ended up ordering 5 in total, with those being Blessed Samhain, Season of the Witch, Ghost Stories, Hex, and Bloodlust. So one of the things that really kind of drew me into Spooky Soul was their packaging and branding, and specifically with the fact that all of their containers are 3 wicks. As typically with those small batch candle companies, you see them kind of gravitate towards more of that like 7-ounce smaller single wick size. So to see them kind of fully commit to the 3 wick format was pretty intriguing. Now, of course, considering these are 3 wicks, these are actually priced at around $30, which does make sense. It's kind of around the price that you would pay for a 3 wick. I think Bath & Body Works is around $26 now full price, but obviously with a smaller candle company, they are going to be a little bit more expensive to produce. But I actually did pick these up on sale. I think the day they dropped, they were on a special sale, so I ended up getting all of the candles here for around $24 each. And I believe during the day they launched, they were also offering free shipping, which was a huge plus. And on top of that, these actually shipped to me really fast because they are located in California. I think it took around a week to actually get in the mail, but once it was in the mail, it arrived to me like the next day, which was actually really refreshing for me because every single time that I order from a candle company, they're always located on the East Coast, so it always takes a long time to get here. So I was very excited to have fast shipping for once. But anyways, with all of that and what the scent notes were describing, my interest was extremely piqued. So let's go ahead and jump into what the candles actually smell like. Starting out here with Blessed Samhain. So Blessed Samhain has scent notes of crisp apple, tangy cranberry, pine, juniper, cedar, oak, leather, smoke, vanilla, and whiskey. So this one is really interesting to me because there are a lot of scent notes in this one, and you can kind of smell a lot of hints of every single one of them, but it's actually really, really smooth and coalesced. Like on the top of this one, you are getting a little bit of that crisp apple and tangy cranberry. There is like a vague fall fruitiness to this one, but I wouldn't categorize it as like a fruity scent. It's very much more so those woody fragrances. There is a really nice cedar base to this one. You are getting a little bit of that pine as well. And those woody notes are definitely blending in very heavily with the vanilla on the base. I wouldn't say that it's like a super sweet vanilla fragrance, but the way it all melds together is so smooth in like a cashmere vanilla type of way. And then surprisingly, you do get a hit of that whiskey as well. It does have an almost harvest like olden times feel to it, like an old harvest feast. There's like an old dusty cedar table. You have some of those harvest fruits laid across it, and then you're having a nice neat whiskey. There is a vague smokiness to this one, but I wouldn't say that it's like overwhelmingly bonfire smoke. It kind of just adds to the ambiance, like if you were in this mess hall and there was a fire burning, but it's not raging, it's just kind of like an ambiance of smoke, if you will. It kind of reminds me of, I believe, gosh, I'm blanking on the name right now. I think it was called Whiskey and Embers from Kringle Candles fall collection last year. It's giving me that same type of like wooden and whiskey blend with just a little bit of smokiness, but this one does have those like fruits at the top to give it more of a distinct fall feel, and it definitely makes it more interesting. I do like this fragrance a lot more than the Kringle Whiskey and Embers, but if you did have that candle and enjoyed it, I think that you would enjoy this. And I did actually give this one a burn as well, and it actually did perform pretty decent for me. It wasn't blowing me out of the room or anything, but it did have a nice decent like 6 out of 10 strength in throw. The fragrance itself on cold isn't necessarily the strongest, but when it's lit up, I can definitely smell it, and it does have like a nice cozy fall feel to it. I do very much like this fragrance for what it is, but it's not my favorite of the bunch. All right, so coming up next here, let's talk about Season of the Witch. So Season of the Witch has scent notes of apple, cinnamon, berries, pecan, cedar, mulled wine, and cloves. So this one is just so classic fall to me. Straight off the top, you are getting that really nice crisp red apple. You are getting a nice like autumn spices in this. It does say cinnamon. I would say it's closer to like a baking cinnamon as opposed to like red hot tamales. It's not really overwhelmingly cinnamon to me. And although it doesn't say it in the scent notes, there is like a really nice like crunchy leaves to this. It just really feels like fall foliage just packaged into a jar. And then you're getting hit by that really nice warm clove. And while I don't necessarily get a wine note out of this, there is like a tart berry in there, but it does feel like heavy, like a mulled wine would be. Just a very deep berry note. And there also is a little bit of a pecan note in there. I wouldn't say that it's like super nutty or anything, almost like a slightly candied pecan, but I would say definitely the stars of the show in this one are that apple, the cedar, and that deep berry note. This one does feel very autumnal in nature. Like every time I smell this, I'm just picturing like a fall sunset in my mind. I do think that the color palette on this one is very accurate to how it smells. So I did give this one a burn as well, and this one actually did perform very well for me. It definitely filled up my room with scent and even threw a little bit down my hallway. Overall, it settled into around a 7 out of 10 for strength and throw for me. And another cool thing about these candles that I actually had no idea about before I ordered them was that they actually have these like custom lids with their logo on top, which is already pretty cool. But underneath it, there are these like little engraved messages, and there are messages on each and every one of these except for the blessed Samhain, I believe. I think this is special to the Halloween line. I'm not going to show each and every one of them, but I just thought that was such a cool touch, and I've never seen anybody do that before. So definitely props to the packaging here. But yeah, if you are looking for classic fall in a jar, apples, berries, crunchy leaves, then I would suggest giving Season of the Witch a try. So let's jump into the next scent here with Ghost Stories. So Ghost Stories has scent notes of rich maple, spicy clove, spooky smoke, earthy moss, woodsy oak, gooey roasted marshmallows, and sweet melted sugar. So after smelling this one for the first time, I was really surprised with how different I envisioned it being in my head, because having the name Ghost Stories and the scent notes of toasted marshmallow and sweet sugar, you would think that it's going to be like a sweet marshmallow type of scent with a little bit of smoke thrown in. But man, this one is like so smoky and surprisingly earthy. The first thing that really punches you in the face in this one is that smoke. It's like a crazy accurate smoldering embers and firewood, and then coming up right behind it is that earthy moss. But that's not to say that the smoke and the earthiness is all that you smell, as I am getting a lot of that rich maple from the top as well, but it's not like syrupy sweet. It's almost just like accentuating the smoke and fire, almost as if you chopped down a maple tree and it still had the syrup in it and you just lit it on fire. I will tell you what I am not really getting though, and that is that gooey marshmallow and the sweet vanilla sugar. There is a vague sweetness to this one, maybe a little bit of vanilla, but it very much gets lost in the background. And I actually kind of dig that about this fragrance, as it's a take on a marshmallow scent that I really have not smelled before in quite this way. I would say that if you liked like Mummy Marshmallow from Kringle Candle last year, that was another take on a marshmallow fragrance where it was very earthy and smoky as well, but that one did kind of have more of that vanilla marshmallow in there. This one, I would say that the smoke and the earthiness definitely sing more. And now let's get to the burn on this one. Another very decent performer. I would say this performed just about as well as the Season of the Witch, maybe slightly less strong, settling into that 6.5 to an almost 7 range, because it did fill my room up with scent, but I couldn't really smell it much past that. But I'm definitely not upset with the performance on this one at all. But yeah, if you are looking for a smoky marshmallow scent that is more about the smoke than the marshmallow, then definitely consider picking up the Ghost Stories. All right, so before we get into these last two fragrances here, I did fail to mention at the beginning of the video that I actually purchased all of these candles on the Spooky Soul Etsy, and unfortunately I believe all of the fragrances that I will be talking about today are not currently available, as they did sell out, but I do believe that there will be a restock coming in August. I'll make sure to leave a link to the Spooky Soul Instagram account and also their Etsy page, just in case you want to be updated on potential restocks and new scents that are coming. But let's jump into the next scent that I have, which is Hex. So Hex has scent notes of anise, cinnamon, and clove. Wow, this one really packs a punch. So obviously straight off the top of this one, you are getting hit with waves of that anise, and then blended in equally with that is the cinnamon and the clove. It's definitely that type of like red hot spicy cinnamon, and then that clove comes in through on the back end, and there is such a nice warming clove scent in this. Super heavy, super in your face. It's almost like if you went trick-or-treating and all that you had in your candy bag was like black licorice and hot tamales. Although while this is like a black licorice scent first and foremost, it very much is not hiding that fact at all. It doesn't smell like super artificial black licorice to me. It's definitely more of that like anise star as a spice itself, as opposed to like a sugary sweet like Jelly Belly black jelly bean. And oddly enough, it's almost like leathery in the way that it smells. This one to me is just so distinctly Halloween. I'm a sucker for a good black licorice and a good spicy cinnamon scent, and this is just such a gorgeous combo. And this one is also kind of reminding me of like Halloween by Kringle Candle, like on steroids though. Like Halloween from Kringle Candle is a little bit more reserved and held back, but in this one, the black licorice just really, really shines. So getting on to the burn here, this thing was a crazy good performer for me. As soon as I lit this thing up, it was instantly producing scent, filled up my room, and definitely traveled beyond that, and overall settled at around an 8 out of 10 for me in my room. And in lighting this one up, it just instantly instantly put me in that Halloween mood. I was very much obsessed with this one while it was burning, and it's definitely been a struggle for me to not light this one up again, because this one definitely reads as like Halloween only to me, as I am like a seasonal burner. So if you're a really big fan of black licorice scents, of spicy red hot cinnamon scents, or the combination of those two scents, then I highly recommend seeking out Hex. All right, and coming up last, but certainly not least here, let's talk about Bloodlust. So Bloodlust has scent notes of damp stone, muddy puddles, peaty smoke, mossy oak, patchouli, amber, musk, and sandalwood. And man, this thing is wild. Oh, it is so intensely wet and damp and dirty. Straight off the top, you are getting hit with like pounds of that damp stone. There is almost like a mineralistic quality to this one. It has that like wet, rocky petrichor scent. And then underneath that, you're getting this really like disgusting caked mud mixing in with that dirty earthy patchouli. And to top it off, you are getting a really nice subtle smokiness as well. This one just transports you into the middle of a graveyard. It is currently storming outside. The rain is pelting the gravestones and making the whole area muddy, and then a lightning strike from the storm hits a tree and causes it to catch fire. This one is so atmospheric and spooky and extremely intense on cold. When I first opened up my package, I just got hit with the biggest waft of this candle, and I knew I was in for a wild ride. And that is definitely the case for the burn as well. Just like Hex, when I first lit this thing up, it was immediately producing scent, filling up my room and throwing like a beast down the hallway. It easily hit that like 8 out of 10, almost 8.5 out of 10 range for me. And this thing lingers as well. When I blew it out, I could still smell it the next morning. And also with this one specifically, it is in this really cool like red tinted glass, and that along with the label here, which is actually like textured. I don't know if you can really see it, but it has this like raised pattern to it, and it also is cut out in a way where the light shines through it. And that label along with the red colored glass, this thing looks so awesome while it's burning, as it kind of creates this like red hue in the area that it's burning, as well as the candle flames flickering through the label, really giving it this like blood moon aura. And I think that vibe is just so perfect for a zombie candle, and it makes this one even more of a standout to me. That is just like A1 packaging. This one definitely reminds me of like a mix of 6 Feet Under and Dungeon from Kringle Candle, because it's got that like pottery soil kind of feel that 6 Feet Under had, but it's also got that distinct like wet concrete in there as well that Dungeon had. And it definitely shares that unbridled earthiness that both 6 Feet Under and Dungeon have. Like honestly, I think this is the closest thing I have smelled to Dungeon since that candle released. So honestly, to all of the Kringle Candle Halloween fans out there who missed out on Dungeon and want to know what it smells like, this is probably the closest thing that you're going to get to it. But on its own, Bloodlust really does stand out. It hits all the right notes for a truly scary Halloween candle. And if that's what you're looking for this Halloween season, then I cannot recommend Bloodlust enough. So that is all I have for you guys today. Overall, I am really impressed with my first order from Spooky Soul Candle Company, from the themes of the candles to the packaging, and even to the performance. As usually when I try out a new candle company, there are always going to be some of the candles that don't perform as well as the others. And while that was kind of the case in this scenario, I will say that these 3 wicks actually had a really nice consistent strength across the board. As in my case, I could definitely smell all of these candles while burning in my room, which was definitely a welcome surprise. And the scents across the board, I am really digging the vibe of. While I'm not necessarily in love with all of the fragrances, I do think that there is a very nice variation of fall and Halloween scents, and also 2 standout killer Halloween fragrances, those being the Bloodlust and the Hex. Those are the 2 that I definitely recommend. But I am very interested to know if any of you out there have tried Spooky Soul Candle Company, whether that be any of these fragrances or anything from their spring and winter collections, because I am definitely very excited to try out some of those in the future. And I am also very excited to see what this company does next, because you could definitely tell that Stephanie has a very deep passion for spooky and Halloween scents, and that really just shines in all of the fragrances here. So once again, if you guys are interested in any of these, I will go ahead and leave the Etsy link in the description, as well as a link to their Instagram. As always, remember to leave a like on this video if you guys enjoyed it, and to subscribe for more Halloween content, because you know I have more on the way very soon. Until the next one, I'll see you guys later. Bye.